Sometimes it happens at 2 a.m. Sometimes it happens in traffic. Sometimes it happens in a room full of people, and you still feel alone. It's not a dramatic breakdown. It's quiet, almost invisible. You look at your life, and suddenly it feels like you're watching a movie you don't belong in. The smiles feel rehearsed. The conversations feel scripted. The goals feel borrowed. And you don't say it out loud, but inside you hear it. What is the point? Why does life feel like a game where the rules keep changing? Why does it feel like the more you try, the more something pushes back? You open your phone and you see the same messages again. Stay positive, manifest, hustle, trust the process. But what if you're tired of the process? Not just physically tired, but existentially tired. Not, I need sleep tired. I don't recognize my life tired. And this is where most people get confused. Because when you feel like quitting, society labels it as weakness. But what if the urge to quit isn't weakness at all? What if it's a signal? A signal that the version of you that's been surviving can't keep pretending anymore. Think about it. Your nervous system can only carry pressure for so long. You can only perform "I'm fine" so many times before your body starts protesting. That protest can look like anxiety, like numbness, like losing motivation, like scrolling for hours because reality feels too heavy, like waking up already exhausted. And here's the twist. This isn't always depression. Sometimes it's clarity. Sometimes the disgust you feel isn't proof that you're broken, it's proof you're awake. Because your mind is finally noticing something your soul has known for a long time. You're living in a way that costs you yourself. You're paying with your energy, your truth, your rest, your real emotions, just to stay acceptable. And when you do that long enough, something inside you starts whispering, I can't do this anymore. People hear that sentence in panic. They think it means the end, but often it means the beginning. Because I can't do this anymore doesn't always mean I want to die. Sometimes it means I don't want to live like this. There's a difference. One is a desire to disappear. The other is a desire to stop betraying yourself. And if you've been feeling that, I want you to hear this clearly. You're not crazy. You're not weak. You're responding normally to an abnormal way of living, a world that rewards constant productivity but punishes being human, a culture that teaches you how to succeed but not how to be whole. So if you feel like quitting, don't rush to silence it. Instead, ask a deeper question. What exactly am I trying to quit? Because that question can change everything. Let's say it honestly. A lot of people don't want to quit life. They want to quit the performance. They want to quit the pressure to be impressive, to be always okay, always productive, always on. And psychology has a name for what happens when you can't escape pressure. Your system shifts into survival mode. In survival mode, your brain stops caring about meaning. It cares about safety. That's why you can feel empty even when your life looks successful, because survival isn't the same as living. You can achieve goals while slowly losing your soul. And the hardest part is this. Most people never notice it happening. They call it being responsible. They call it adult life. They call it discipline. But sometimes it's just slow self-abandonment. Here's how it works. You learn early that approval equals safety, so you become what gets you approved. You learn that being easy, useful, and agreeable gets you love, so you become that. You learn that emotions are inconvenient, so you hide them. You learn that rest must be earned, so you feel guilty when you stop. And over time, you build an identity that functions, but doesn't feel true. That identity might be strong, it might be capable, it might be admired, but inside it's exhausted. Because it was never built for truth, it was built for survival. So when you say, "I want to quit," sometimes what you're really saying is, "I want to stop living as armor. I want to stop being a brand, a product, a performance. I want to stop running a race I didn't choose." And under that urge to quit, there's usually something deeper than anger. There's grief. Grief for the years you lived on someone else's terms. Grief for the joy you postponed. Grief for the truth you swallowed. Grief for the version of you that never got to breathe. And grief is not weakness. Grief is a signal that something mattered. So, what do we do with that? We stop treating quitting as failure, and we start treating it as information. Because quitting can be sacred when it means quitting what harms you. Quitting the noise, quitting the fake goals, quitting the need to be liked, quitting the relationships where you have to shrink, quitting the habits that numb you but never heal you. This is not about becoming lazy. This is about becoming honest. And honesty is a kind of strength most people never practice. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Sometimes your breakdown is your soul's protest. Your mind can keep going, but your body and spirit say no. You might call it falling apart, but psychologically, it can be an integration process, a moment where the false self can't hold the weight anymore. And in that collapse, something real starts emerging. Not a prettier version of you, a truer version of you. But this is the part no one posts. People post the glow up. They don't post the night before it. They don't post the shaking, the silence, the moment you sit on the floor and whisper, "I don't know who I am anymore." But that moment is often the doorway, because once the mask cracks, you can finally ask, what do I actually want when I'm not trying to be acceptable? And that question is terrifying, because it means change. It means you may lose people who only liked your performance. It means disappointing expectations. It means stepping into uncertainty. But it also means something powerful, coming back to yourself. If you're in that place right now, the place where everything feels heavy, I want to give you a practical way to think about it, not as motivation, as psychology. First, recognize what you're actually feeling. Sometimes you think you're unmotivated, but what you really are is overwhelmed. Sometimes you think you're lazy, but what you really are is burned out. Sometimes you think you're broken, but what you really are is emotionally exhausted. So step one is naming it without judgment. Say, "I'm exhausted. I'm grieving. I'm angry. I'm numb. I'm scared." Because what you can name, you can work with. Second, understand the difference between rest and escape. Rest restores you. Escape avoids you. Rest looks like sleep, silence, nature, slow walks, journaling, therapy, honest conversations. Escape looks like endless scrolling, binging, constant distractions, substances, or staying busy to avoid feeling. And listen, escape doesn't make you a bad person. It makes you a human trying to survive. But if you want rebirth, you can't only numb. you have to listen. Third, treat your urge to quit like a messenger. Ask it, what am I done with? What is draining me? What am I tolerating that I secretly hate? What part of me is being ignored? You might be shocked how clearly the answers arrive. Maybe you're done with being available to everyone. Maybe you're done with chasing validation. Maybe you're done with a job that eats your soul. Maybe you're done with pretending your needs don't exist. And then comes the hardest part, boundaries. Because the moment you stop performing, the world pushes back. People will call you different, selfish, cold, difficult. But boundaries are not cruelty. Boundaries are clarity. They're the line where your soul stops bleeding. Fourth, rebuild slowly, not dramatically. Most people try to transform with huge changes, but your nervous system needs safety, not chaos. So rebuild through small decisions. One honest no. One day of real rest. One conversation where you stop pretending. One habit that supports your body. 1 hour without the noise. Small choices create a new identity. Not an identity built on approval, but one built on truth. And here's something that can change how you see yourself. You were taught that strength means endurance, but real strength is not just keep going. Real strength is stop doing what kills you, even if it disappoints people. Real strength is let the old version of you die, even if it scares you. Because the version of you that always survived might not be the version of you that can truly live. And this is where the paradox appears. Sometimes you have to fall apart to come together. Sometimes you have to quit to begin. Not quitting life, quitting the life that isn't yours. The life where your worth depends on output. The life where your emotions are inconvenient. The life where your softness is punished. The life where you betray yourself daily just to be acceptable. So if you're standing at that edge, feeling like you can't do it anymore, I want you to hear this as a psychological truth. That feeling can be a turning point. Not because everything will magically get better, but because you're finally telling the truth. And truth is where healing starts. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to be inspirational. You don't need to have it all figured out. You just need one thing: to stop lying to yourself. Because the moment you stop lying, life becomes yours again. You'll rebuild, moment by moment, decision by decision. You'll learn to rest without guilt, to say, I don't know, without shame, to feel sadness without rushing to fix it, to choose silence over noise, to choose reality over performance. And one day, you'll look in the mirror and see it. Not someone broken, someone becoming. So if you feel like quitting, don't panic. Listen. It may be your soul asking for a life that is real. And if this message found you at the exact moment you needed it, then maybe this isn't the end. Maybe this is the unedited beginning.